You know the scene. You glance over, and there's your dog, just going to town, licking their paws. At first, you probably don't think anything of it, but then you start to notice it's happening a lot.
And that's when the question pops into your head. Is this just a weird, quirky dog thing they do? Or is it a sign that something is seriously wrong and needs your attention?
Well, today we're going to get to the bottom of it. We are going to decode this very common but very strange habit. And I promise you, some of the reasons are definitely not what you'd expect.
First up, let's start with the most common culprits. We're talking about things that are bothering the surface of the paw. A lot of the time, the answer is right there if you just know what to look for.
Okay, so two of the biggest players here are allergies and skin infections. With allergies, from things like pollen, grass, or even their food, you'll probably see red, swollen pads and just non-stop chewing. But with an infection, like from yeast or bacteria that loves damp spaces, you might notice a distinct odor, kind of a musty, Frito-like smell, and maybe even some rusty brown staining on the
And it's not just what's going on inside their body. The world around them plays a huge role. In the winter, you've got salt and ice melt that can really sting their pads. In the summer, that hot pavement can cause actual burns. Heck, it could be something as simple as sharp gravel, a tiny splinter, or even just the dry air in your house causing cracked, itchy paws that your dog just can't leave alone.
But what if you've checked for all those skin issues and environmental triggers and the licking is still happening? Well, it might be time to look a little deeper. Sometimes the real problem isn't on the surface at all.
Next up, let's talk about the invisible invaders, pests. Things like fleas, ticks, and even microscopic mites can cause some seriously intense itching, especially deep down between their toes. If you see them licking like crazy or scratching a ton late at night, you could have a parasite problem. This is exactly why year-round prevention is not just a suggestion, it is your absolute best defense.
Now, this is a big one that a lot of dog owners can miss. If your dog is laser-focused on licking just one paw, it might not be an itch at all. It could be their quiet way of saying something hurts deeper inside, like a joint ache from arthritis or a sprain.
So, what if you've ruled out all the physical stuff? The irritants, the pests, the pain. Where do you even look next? Well, now we have to consider the mind. Because sometimes the reason for the licking has nothing to do with the paw itself.
Here's the best way to think about it. For some dogs, paw licking is basically their version of us biting our nails when we're nervous. It's a self-soothing behavior that can kick in because of anxiety, a lack of mental stimulation, or just plain boredom. And what starts as a coping mechanism can turn into a very hard-to-break habit.
So, what's the cure for a bored or anxious pup? You've got to give their brain a job to do. Things like puzzle feeders, little sniff and search games with treats, or even just short, fun training sessions can work wonders. It gives them something better to focus on than their paws. And hey, if you're finding these insights helpful, we'd love for you to subscribe to Love Dogs for even more essential tips.
Okay, now we need to get serious for a moment. We have to talk about why you should never, ever just ignore chronic paw licking, because what seems like a simple habit can actually spiral into a really serious medical issue if it's left unchecked.
This is the million-dollar question, right? When does a simple habit cross the line and become dangerous? I mean, it's one thing for a dog to clean their paws, but it is a whole other story when the licking becomes obsessive and actually starts to cause damage.
The number one danger we're talking about is a condition called a lick granuloma. This is a painful, raw sore that the dog literally creates with its own tongue. Just imagine a scrape that never gets to form a scab because it's always wet. That constant moisture not only stops it from healing, but it creates the perfect breeding ground for nasty infection.
And this is how it spirals out of control. It all starts with a simple itch. So the dog licks the spot to get some relief. But that constant rough licking actually damages the skin more, which in turn makes the itch even stronger. And that traps them in this vicious, frustrating, and painful itch-lick cycle that they just can't break on their own.
Okay, I know that all sounds a little scary, but don't worry. Now that we've identified the problems, let's talk solutions. It's time to shift into your action plan. What you can start doing right now.
Here's your straightforward 3-step plan. First, investigate. Gently check out the paw yourself. Do you see any injuries, thorns, splinters, anything obvious? Second, and this is the most important step, visit your vet. You need a professional diagnosis to find the real root cause. And finally, step 3, follow the plan. Whatever your vet recommends, stick with it.
And while you're working on that vet plan, here are some helpful tools that can help break the habit. Protective booties can create a physical barrier. Soothing paw balms can help heal that dry, cracked skin. There are also anti-lick sprays that just taste awful to dogs. And of course, those enrichment toys and puzzle feeders we talked about are fantastic for tackling boredom.
And you know, after all this, here's a sweet little twist. Sometimes licking isn't a problem at all. Some dogs will actually lick your hands or feet, and it's this amazing ancient pack instinct. It's their way of grooming you, of taking care of you, and basically saying, you're one of us. It's pure love.
So, the biggest takeaway today is this. Listen to what your dog's paws are trying to tell you. Because while it can sometimes be nothing, that persistent licking is often their only way of sending you an urgent message that something's not right, and listening is the most important first step you can take.
Understanding these signals is such a huge part of being the best dog parent you can be. For more ways to decode what your dog is trying to tell you and provide the absolute best care, please make sure you subscribe to the Love Dogs channel. We're here to help you and your best friend live your very best lives together.